Hello, hello, and welcome. I am Teresa Stone of Lightworker Navigation and the co creator of the Conscious Insight Journal series. And today I am excited to share with you a little bit about how these journals came to be. So, firstly, I have been an avid journaler for pretty much most of my life. Not to say that I haven't taken breaks here and there over the years, but for the most part, I have always come back to journaling. Journaling for me has always been a very beautiful, sacred space for me to share my thoughts, my feelings, and just whatever was arising around my emotions. If I was dealing with a specific challenge or circumstance or experience in my life that was very challenging or very hard for me to get through, I would find a lot of comfort in expressing my emotions and my thoughts in the journals that I kept. So for me, the journaling experience has always been a very sacred and very supportive part of my growth, my spiritual growth, and just my growth of my mind, my body, my soul, and my spirit. And so when I decided to create Lightworker Navigation 3 years ago, I had started assembling a lot of insights that have been coming through in my journals. And it was very interesting for me to start compiling these insights, these little food for thoughts, or these little tidbits that were coming through in my journals. Because what I noticed was that I was actually channeling as I was writing. So at some point in my journaling experience, I started to become more of a conscious trance channeler than just expressing, oh, today so and so really irritated me, or I was really frustrated about this. It actually became more of like this beautiful relationship with my high self and my intuition as I was growing and developing my own innateness and return to my wholeness and that remembering of who I really am, that inner connection. And so when I was compiling all these little insights from my journals, probably from the last 6, 7 years, what I started to notice was that there were some that were very profound and very moving, and they really were key components in helping to navigate me to where I am now. And so I started putting some of these little insights out on social media, in my newsletters, and I had a lot of really positive feedback. And I actually was invited to write a couple of magazines because of those insights, which was really amazing for me. And what I realized after a year or so of like sharing the insights this way, I was really feeling like they needed a more permanent home. They needed a place that they could actually be shared with a greater audience. And so I started asking for guidance, and I started stepping into what could this possibly look like. Then the insight came in probably middle to the end of June, where it's like, oh, maybe I could start creating some of these insights in the journal and guiding people through the experience that I had when I was journaling. And that is where the first, I guess you could say, the first prototype of the journal started to become to fruition. And I started compiling the insights that I felt compelled to put in first. And then it was actually while having a meeting with a really good friend of mine that we were just kind of going back and forth and sharing some of our ideas, her with her business and me with my business, that she actually told me from the guidance that her guides were telling her that they needed to be put into a theme, and that there wasn't going to be just one journal, that there would be multiple journals. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I like that idea. And so I explored a little bit around that. And then from there, it was like everything just happened really, really quick, really fast. And I sat down one day and I went through all the insights that I had pulled from my journals. And And I was like, oh, actually, they really are themed. There's some on love, there's some on gratitude, celebration, awareness, perspective, and messages from the divine, and trust and hope. And so I was like, oh, they're practically writing themselves. And I started compiling each of them. And the next thing I know, I had the first 6 volumes laid out right in front of me. And I said, holy smokes, this was amazing. Like, how did that even happen? And that is really the beautifulness of the sacredness of divine timing and how everything just unfolds so beautifully. And that had really been my first experience of bringing forth something of this magnitude for me. It was so much smoothness, so much um, gentle ease and flow. It was very beautiful to see how it all came to light. And so each one of these journals actually has 6 beautifully channeled messages that also have my experiences woven into them. And then I was also guided to bring forward a wisdom guide to hold space for each one of the journals. And so each one has a beautiful wisdom guide. And that wisdom guide shared a beautiful channeled message straight from them to me to share within the journal to hold space, to also help deepen people's experience. And the cover images are all taken from my travels. Little did I know that while I was traveling to all these beautiful sites over the last, well, probably the last 15, 16 years, 20 years really, that they would be turned into journal covers. When I was moved to take the pictures, I was capturing the life force essence of the nature, of the mountains, of the trees. And each of those images really moved me. And they really also helped to shift me a little bit more. They helped to deepen me a little bit more to myself, to nature, to that divine connection, that innateness within me. And so that energy is also imbued and embedded within each journal. And each image is intuitively picked for that specific journal based on the energy and the vibration that I was feeling at the time I took those pictures. And there's also sacred geometry symbols embedded into the covers and into the pages that also help to work on an unconscious level. There is little beautiful messages that are woven through the whole journal that are very inspirational. Some of them say you are loved, and some of them say keep going. I'm proud of you. You won't see them, but you'll feel the energy of them as they radiate this beautiful vibrational frequency from the pages through your pen into your hand, into your body, into your energy field. And so each of these beautifully, divinely created sacred books, these journals that walk you through a beautiful journey of shifts, heals, and feels, awakening you to the beautiful remembrance of your true divine wisdom through self expression and reflection. They really capture a deepening, a resonance that vibrates on both a conscious and an unconscious level. And so these Conscious Insight Journal series are very special. They are not your average journal whatsoever. And I have had people have such beautiful shifts and movements with them, and they have come and they have shared with me that the insights that are written there, they're written in such a way that it helps to transform and unravel much of their limiting beliefs, much of that limiting dense patterns and energy that's trapped in their energy fields. And some people say that they can't write because they really that's just not their thing. And so some people have just purchased the journals and they have read through the insights and they have then recorded their thoughts I actually had one lady who's actually a pretty good friend of mine, and she purchased a couple of the journals, and she says, "I hope you don't think I'm a cad. I just actually have them, and they're just sitting on my shelf, and they're displayed beautifully, and I just feel like I'm absorbing the energy from them, and I feel like just having them in my presence is helping to shift my energy. Is that okay? Is that how I can use them?" And she's like, "Is that wrong of me?" I says, "No, not at all." I said, "However you are meant to receive and use and utilize and transform from the energy of these beautiful sacred books is absolutely perfect for you. Absolutely perfect for you." And so that is how the Conscious Insight Journal series came to be. And I am ecstatic that I get to share these incredible journals with those in my community and those that find their way to them, because they are little magic gemstones that really help to unravel your dense energies. They help to unravel those limiting beliefs, and they work on so many levels, both the conscious and the unconscious, on all of your energetics. They are just absolutely a delight to create and to share with others. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that you get to experience the Conscious Insight Journal series for yourself. Thank you so much.